Well, it's Monday and it's time for another video forecast. I'm forecasting Nathan Kitchens here from Convective Weather. Hard to believe April is just a couple days away. We have some severe weather potential in the forecast over the next few days, and it certainly looks like our weather pattern is turning more spring-like, as we do have potentially a more active pattern with more severe thunderstorm threats, it looks like, as we head into early to mid-April. I'm going to go over that longer range pattern here later on into the video forecast. I'm going to show you the Storm Prediction Center outlooks for the next several days, as we do have that risk for severe weather. We've had some thunderstorms develop across the northern peninsula of Florida this evening and parts of southern Alabama. We did have potential for some large hail with these, maybe some gusty winds. Not going to be a big deal. Those should be fading away later on this evening. The main focus will be the threat for severe weather coming up over the next few days. Tomorrow, threat does have the slight risk of severe storms for parts of Oklahoma and Texas here in the yellow. You can see a pretty large area here across the south in a marginal threat for severe storms for Tuesday. The main threat will be large hail, and for this threat for tomorrow. I'll go into this more here in a minute. And the outlook for Wednesday, we'll have the threat shifting of severe weather shifting into the Midwest, the upper plains, across the Midwest here, the area in yellow in that slight risk. You can also see the darker green shading here, the area, and a marginal risk for severe weather on Wednesday as a strong area of low pressure does move through southern Canada. This will drag a cold front across the central part of the country, and we'll have Gulf moisture streaming northward, and we'll have that threat for severe storms with large hail and damaging wind possible. And later on this week, once we get past Wednesday, we will still have at least a threat for severe weather shifting a little farther southward, as that cold front does shift a little farther south. I'm going to show you the Storm Prediction Center outlooks for day 4. This is day 4 for Thursday. This will be Thursday. They have a 15% outlook here for far southwest Illinois through southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma, and far northeast Texas for Thursday for the potential of a few severe storms. We fine-tuning that, of course, over the next few days. And for Friday, you can see the risk shift southward into parts of Mississippi, central and northern parts of Mississippi, and also including parts of southern Arkansas and northern parts of Louisiana for Friday. To show you this in the models, we're going to see tomorrow afternoon, we will have the potential for storms to develop as a short wave moves through the southern part of the country. Actually, I'm going to shift models here. I apologize for this. I'm going to shift towards the NAM model, because the NAM has a much better resolution than the global models such as the GFS. So I'll show you the NAM model here. I apologize for not having this up. For tomorrow, we will have the threat for thunderstorms developing later in the afternoon. I would say probably anytime after 5 o'clock Central Time, really when that threat will increase for severe thunderstorms in that area from Oklahoma and Texas, the area that was in that slight risk. And we will have the threat for thunderstorms across the south here tomorrow as a short wave moves through. And thunderstorms will be developing tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow evening. And you can see these storms here showing up on a NAM computer model at 8 or 7 o'clock Central Time tomorrow evening. And this is it by the map by 10, or I should say 9 o'clock Central Time. And you do see some scattered thunderstorms here stretched out across the southern region of the country. And there will be that threat for severe weather here. The main threat will be large hail with these storms, maybe some gusty winds as well. And once we get into Wednesday, we're going to see a strong area of low pressure moving through southern Canada, and this will drag a cold front through. You can see an area of low pressure associated along the front here in western parts of Kansas. And we will have moisture streaming northward out of the Gulf, and we will have the threat for severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon, really Wednesday late day, Wednesday evening. This is the map by 9 o'clock Central Time. You can see a linear convection here of storms here from southeast Nebraska through the central and northwest parts of Iowa. Of course, the exact location won't be perfect on the model, but this gives you a general idea of where the storms will be Wednesday evening. As that cold front is pushing through, we will see the threat for severe storms, gusty winds, damaging winds possible, and certainly large hail. Those will be those main threats with these storms, as maybe some bowing segments along this line Wednesday evening into Wednesday night. And once we get into Thursday, this cold front will be shifting towards the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, and this is where the shower and thunderstorm activity will shift for Thursday, as this low pressure continues to move on through southern Canada, farther to the east, and this cold front will be pushing southward. We will have that threat for severe weather here across southern Missouri. Watching this area here from southern Missouri and northern Arkansas on Thursday, this area through here, maybe some severe storms that needs to be fine-tuned obviously over the next few days. And once we get into Friday, you can see or I should say Thursday night, you can see this cold front moving southward, some showers and thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley. And once we get into Friday, the NAM computer model doesn't go out that far, but there will be another wave moving along that front that will provide another threat for some showers on Friday. I'll show you this on a GFS model if I can expand the display here. As we go into Friday, there will be another wave skipping through here. Friday afternoon and Friday evening, another wave moves along that front. Friday, more showers and thunderstorms across the south. We'll be watching parts of the Mississippi Valley through Mississippi and parts of northern Louisiana and Arkansas for some severe weather on Friday. So let's take a look now at the temperature pattern throughout the week, as we do have some more spring-like weather coming in for parts of the eastern parts of the nation where it's been so cold. I'm going to show you the 850 millibar temperature chart off the European model. You can see very warm across the central and western parts of the country right now. And there will be that clipper system moving through the Great Lakes and into the northeast and mid-Atlantic for Tuesday. And this will bring down a jab of some little bit of cooler air along the just behind that system for Tuesday night. Certainly nothing too brutal, but it'll quickly get out of here Wednesday into Thursday. You can see this low pressure moving through southern Canada that I just discussed, bringing in a warm southerly flow, moisture coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. Very spring-like system here. And that warmth will be shifting into the northeast. So even in the northeast, we'll get in on that warmth by Thursday and Friday, certainly. And once we get towards the weekend, that system moves by. We'll have that cold front shifting southward. And temperatures will cool off again across eastern parts of the country for later Friday and certainly for the upcoming weekend. As another jab of cooler air comes back down here, you can see this area of strong low pressure up here in Maine, and behind it along the counterclockwise flow will provide cooler air for Saturday. Nothing, you can see the brutal stuff really does stay up in Canada, which is great news. So at least we may be able to avoid some at least brutally cold temperatures, but it will be cooler across eastern parts of the country for the weekend. And by Sunday, the cooler air is already starting to retreat just a little bit. We have an area of high pressure down here across the southeast. As we'll see return flow around that, bringing some warmer air back into this region by early next week. Now let's talk about the long-range pattern, as we do have potentially some changes to the pattern coming up as we head into early and middle parts of April. Now we've been stuck in a very pattern that's been very persistent, where we've had a trough in the east and a ridging out in the west due to those warm waters just off the Pacific coast. It's been allowing that ridge to pump up across the west, record drought and heat across California. One of the warmest Marches on record for California. But it does appear the pattern may be trying to shift, at least temporarily. I don't know how long this pattern will persist, but this is the European model 500 millibar charts here. We look at these charts to identify troughs and ridges in the upper levels, and you can see kind of a pattern that we haven't seen very often here as of late, or that's been hard to come by, where now we have the cold air that's been locked in across the eastern parts of the country shifting towards central parts of Canada, and you can see also the western parts of the U.S. actually getting on some cooler numbers. This is the 8 to 10 day 500 millibar chart off the European computer model, and if this verifies, we're going to see cooler air across western parts of the country where it's been so hot. The jet stream shifting farther south into California will provide the threat for some rain for areas that desperately need it, and this also will provide the potential for warmer weather across eastern parts of the country where it's been so cold. I know Boston, Massachusetts has just been locked in on the snow and the cold. Even those areas, if this pattern verifies, should be looking at some much milder and more spring-like temperatures, but this pattern will come at a price. This pattern will provide the increased threat for more severe thunderstorms. So it's going to be a very active pattern. We're going to see what we call variclinic zones setting up here across the central part of the country, where strong systems move through, very active jet stream, and this will provide areas of severe weather potentially across parts of the Ohio Valley and into the Mississippi Valley. And I'm going to attempt to draw this here. I'm not the best artist, so bear with me here. I'm going to try to draw how I think the pattern will shape up, potentially as we head into early to mid part of April here. Our jet stream, let me get the black brush here. Their jet stream kind of draped like this, dipping down through California in the west, and kind of a little bit of ridging going on across the eastern parts of the country, looking like that. We will have several systems moving along the jet stream here, in this pattern. We'll have areas of low pressure moving through, and this will provide what we call a baroclinic zone, where we see the temperature range from the very warm air to the south and the cooler numbers to the north, systems moving along that zone. And this will provide, this is a good setup for severe weather from really the Ohio Valley. I'll kind of draw the area here where this could provide some increased threat for severe weather. Kind of this area right through here where there could be more in the way of severe weather, but also this will provide the potential for more warmth. Warmer air pushing into the northeast where it's been so cold, and some cooler air coming in across parts of the west and northwest where it's been so warm, where they really even haven't had a winter. So it seems, not that this is going to be winter-like temperatures, but I mean it's just going to be finally some cooler air coming down, potentially for parts of the west, and some rain. Again, that's if this pattern verifies, and I'm not completely sold on it absolutely setting up, or at least the longevity. I do believe it's going to set up like this, at least for a short time, but I don't know how long this will stay locked in. That's the big question right now, but it does appear, at least this is kind of how our pattern will be setting up as we head towards the middle of April. So certainly an interesting pattern coming up. If this verifies, very active pattern that will provide more chances of severe weather across parts of the central and southern parts of the country here. So we'll watch it very closely, and obviously the threat for severe weather is something that we need to keep a very close eye on over the next few days. And that is about all I have for this video forecast. Keep it here to Convective Weather for the very latest information on those severe storms over the next few days. I'm forecasting Nathan Kitchens, and have yourself a great Monday evening.